Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and I am joined by my buddy Ian Boothby, and we're going to find out all about Ian in a little bit. But first, we've got to get into our rundown segment and give you all of the daily news for today. But first of all, it's International Women's Day, and I wanted to take a second to just thank the incredible women that have helped me be the person that I am in my world and in my life, and that starts with my wife, Marcy, who I adore and love, and we are celebrating 27 years together this year, which is pretty amazing for everybody. But also to my mom, Joanne, who passed away a couple of years ago, and to my mother-in-law, Noreen, who passed away as well. And they were just so formative and supportive and beautiful and wonderful, and to them and to all the women that support Electric Playground and have watched our content over the years. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a marvelous International Women's Day. But let's get started with today's rundown. After months and months of rumors, Activision has officially announced Call of Duty Black Ops 4, the next game in their hit shooter franchise. It's once again being developed by Treyarch, the studio behind the previous Black Ops games, although that's pretty much all they've said for now. More intel will be unveiled during a special reveal event in May, and the game itself will deploy October 12th, a month ahead of the franchise's normal release month of November. All right, now not to be outdone, Ubisoft and developer Massive Entertainment have officially announced The Division 2, a sequel to their 2016 online action game. Details about the game first leaked early this morning, prompting Ubisoft to go ahead and officially announce it with a short teaser video on Twitter. They say that they always intended the original game to be the first chapter in an ongoing story, and the sequel will take into account all the feedback that they've received from players over the last 2 years. We also know that the sequel will run on an updated version of the Snowdrop engine, which means you can expect better graphics and bigger worlds to explore. More details on The Division 2 will be unveiled at E3 this June. That's a pretty good day. 2 big, huge shooters are announced today. That's huge. One of the people who helped get the Marvel Cinematic Universe off the ground is speeding to the galaxy far, far away. Disney has announced that Iron Man 1 and 2 director Jon Favreau will oversee the upcoming live-action Star Wars TV show, serving as executive producer and writer. They still haven't said what the show will be about or when or where it will take place in the vast Star Wars universe, but we do know that Favreau has the creative chops to bring it to life. The new series will be the first live-action Star Wars show, and it's being produced exclusively for Disney's new subscription streaming platform. The streaming service goes online next year, but the show doesn't have a premiere window yet. I can't wait for this. DC Comics is doing something very cool with some of their best characters. DC has announced that they're expanding with a new publishing imprint called DC Black Label, which sounds like a scotch. The aim is to pair the best writers and artists in the industry and then pair them with the best DC heroes in order to tell unique standalone stories that exist outside of the current DC continuity. The launch books are being crafted by top names like Frank Miller, John Romita Jr., Scott Snyder, and Greg Capullo. And the first 3 heroes being used are the DC Trinity, I'll let you guess, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. The first DC Black Label books hit shelves this August. Now, we talked about the Nintendo Switch ad nauseum yesterday, so here's a little bit more news for you. The Nintendo Switch is a huge hit all over the world, but especially in its home country of Japan. Nintendo has announced that the Switch has now sold 3.8 million units in Japan, which for a little context is more than 3 times the number of PS4s sold in the country in that system's first year. This means the Switch is on track to beat the PS4 considerably, which is no mean feat given that the PS4 is the most successful console of the current generation. Worldwide, the Switch has sold more than 15 million units. Now, Ian, I understand that you are a fan of the Nintendo Switch as well.
Yeah, I've been playing the Mario game to death, and okay, listen, I was trying to get him into his underpants for the longest time, and I'm not proud of that. But I got him into it, and I'm happy. I'm surprised. I'm too happy about that.
You've been playing the Mario game for the longest
time. I know,
time.
and I love all the aspects, but I love dressing the guy up.
It's pretty fun.
I know. You learn things about yourself with that game, things you might not want to know.
It's nuts how because that's always the thing that we always make fun of, the character creation and the dress-up parts of video games. But Nintendo makes the most fun dress-up part of a video, with both Mario and Zelda.
Yeah, and Zelda, my sister-in-law, is spending most of her time now looking up recipes to make virtual recipes in the game.
There's a whole sideshow right there. You could just make a Zelda cooking show. It'd be crazy.
Get Jon Favreau on that. He's got the chef background. Get that in there.
That's good. Work with Nintendo and Disney. That's money in the bank. I like that. Now, are you a Call of Duty fan, or have you zoned out on that?
Well, you know what? I'd say both. I'd say I'm a Call of Duty fan, but a lot of the last couple of games you can zone out, and I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm in space. I'm on the ground. There's a QuickTime scene. Who's that guy? I'm Nixon? What's going on?
It's true.
I was Nixon, right? I didn't dream that. I'm Nixon fighting zombies at one point.
And that is the Black Ops way, right? Anything goes in this twisted story. I think that's one of the reasons why people love it so much. And it gives them carte blanche with their multiplayer to throw in whatever they want.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if zombies started in Black Ops, but I think it probably did. And of course, zombies became massive,
right?
But Black Ops 4 is something that I think people have been predicting for a long time. I dig this series. It got a little too twisted and weird with Black Ops 3. Did you play Black Ops 3?
I'm trying. Again, it becomes this giant. Again, it's like Assassin's Creed. When you go, did you play this version? Maybe. Yeah. What am I jumping off of, and what am I jumping into? Hey, well, I don't know. It's always hey. I think I did. I did. Did you go into space at any point in that?
I think there was space and robots and.
Yes, then I did play that one.
But you were shifting your reality because you were changing your consciousness to different people, and then you didn't know what was real and what wasn't real.
Yes, let's go with that. I did play that.
That's every Black Ops story, pretty much.
I think at this point, ground it a little more, get the focus a little tighter, but I will still be on board,
Because they're moving into October, though, I think that means that they have room to now have a November Call of Duty as well, and then a December one as well. Yeah, one every month.
I wish the Canadian version would have Canadian prime ministers that you could fight with instead of the American presidents. Little Johnny McDonald, little Pierre Trudeau, maybe him teaming up with his son. That'd be fun.
But Activision works in billions. So I don't know if billions of people would play the Canadian version.
I don't know. Our prime minister right now is very handsome.
He is very handsome. Yes, if you put Trudeau on the box.
Yes.
Now Ubisoft revealed the Division 2. Did you play any of the Division 1?
I have not. No, sorry about that.
That was a cool game, and it was not what was I think promised, which you can say about almost every game, I think, these days. So a lot of people got pissed off with the title, and lots of updates and changes had to happen over time with the Division. But I think eventually people found their way to really enjoy and appreciate this game. It was very ambitious. It's more RPG than a shooter.
It does look very fun. Yeah, I'd like to give it a try.
Yeah, it's a super cool game with lots of detail. But they got, the developers at Massive got in trouble, and Ubisoft, for an early E3 reveal that was so detailed and articulated and beautiful, and then of course the finished game couldn't quite look like that. So there was this.
And as you said, that never happens.
That never happens. But Ubisoft seemed to be kind of winning with that franchise, or with that idea over and over again. But presumably now, with all that they have learned, and Massive is a veteran developer with lots of really good development behind them. Division 2 should be something else. I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, all right, I'm on board.
It was cool. It got very addictive. A lot of people kept playing it for thousands. It's one of those, Destiny-like experiences where people would meet and just keep playing these matches over and over again. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that. And I could have predicted that was coming for E3 as well. It was about time for a big reveal in that franchise. What do you think about Favreau taking over a Star Wars television show?
I like it. He's got a lot of passion. He's made things work that shouldn't work. A Jungle Book movie should not work by any means, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Bill Murray as Baloo should not work, but he pulls it off.
He's doing The Lion King right now, too, isn't he?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, he's crazy. What a talented dude. And I met him when he was building Iron Man, and I think that there was, and we did the behind the scenes with Sega on the Iron Man video game, and we actually got to go to the studios where they were actually cutting the movie and putting effects in. It was a surreal experience. But everything was so low-key and so, we don't know, we think, but they didn't know, But there was something in the way that Favreau kind of processed it all and talked about all of this stuff. You could see that there was this trajectory that was starting to happen with this guy. He wasn't just a funny actor that had some writing skills and some directing skills. I mean, he's a juggernaut guy.
Doesn't that seem to be the thing now? Is you pick the funny directors, and you get something like a Thor Ragnarok now. So there was a while it seemed like that was a bad idea. He used to have a show called Party of Five. Did you ever see that?
Oh no, Dinner for Five.
Dinner for Five. Pardon me. Where he'd just talk about his ideas for films, and he thought like, is this guy all talk or not? And it turns out, no, everything he said, he actually has done.
He's amazing.
Yeah,
he's
agreed.
amazing. So yeah, it'll be super cool to see. It does feel, though, and you tell me if you agree with this statement, that Star Wars is, and I don't mean to dismiss Kathleen Kennedy, because I think she's an incredible business person and stuff, but it doesn't feel like they have the same sort of creative direction and control that Kevin Feige has got with the Marvel stuff. And I don't know if it's because the Star Wars universe is unexplored. There isn't all this fiction that's pre-built already.
Right.
Like they're still kind of creating that. But it does feel like these creators are sort of given some reign to embellish and go in whatever direction that they want to, as opposed to the Marvel sort of universe, which has some predetermined paths, I think.
Well, I think with the Marvel Universe, what they've done, which is smart, is they've got different genres in the films.
Yeah.
Like Ant-Man is a heist film. Black Panther is in no way an Ant-Man, is in no way a Winter Soldier, is in no way Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
They have so many different genres and styles that they can bring all these different audiences in, and then when you team them all up, it's interesting.
Can Star Wars do that?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Can you do different genre films with Star Wars? Can you do just a heist movie in the Star Wars universe?
Yeah.
Can you do a horror movie in the Star Wars universe?
Yeah.
And I think that's what will probably save the Star Wars in the long term. If they keep being too reverent with it, then they won't be able to really move ahead.
Which was what Rian Johnson was saying 100% in The Last Jedi. We've got to scrub it clean here, and we've got to try, with the analog of the kid actually sweeping the old Star Wars myth right out the door, which is too crazy. It's going to be interesting to see, because I don't know. Like, I love Rogue One. Every time I see it, I sort of appreciate it more and more. Even if it was a messy, gestation and reshoots and things had to happen to turn it into what it is, I really appreciate what they did with that.
Yeah, my only beef with that was I watched the trailer, and the trailer is in no way the movie.
Yes,
they like, just ridiculously so. Then I'm like, oh, what was this? And when I saw that, and then I saw the movie, I went, I don't know if they really had an idea for this movie. I feel like they were really making it up on the fly.
Yes, that's my comment, right?
Yeah.
And Marvel doesn't feel like that.
No.
Marvel feels like, we got this, like they got it mapped for, a millennia here, And I don't know if it's Feige or if it's because the source material is so prevalent, And the other thing I always say about Star Wars, and I know we'll talk about this with everybody in the chat at the end with our Let's Play in chat, but I always say that the Star Wars brand, this idea of war being perpetual, is a kind of a destructive entity into itself with this media entity, like. I don't know if people want to watch a war that goes on forever.
Well, that was one of the things I liked about the last film, was it seemed to be saying we can't just keep blowing stuff up.
Yeah.
That's not going to solve our problem.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see where they go with that.
Yes. Yeah. It's
tough because you have to celebrate the war because it's Star Wars, but you shouldn't be celebrating war.
Yes.
It's a tricky one.
And that's what I liked about the DJ introduction as well, Benicio del Toro, who I thought was really pointed criticism around the folly of this, the economics of this, and pertinent, and also like poking holes in the whole sort of industry of Star Wars that Disney now owns. You know? It's like there is no right and wrong here. This is silly, and that was a profound moment in that movie for sure, and I really appreciated it.
Agreed.
But I don't know, I feel like Rian Johnson said, okay, now your turn. Go ahead, JJ, fix that. So we'll see what happens here with Episode 9. And with a Star Wars TV show, and this Disney streaming service is turning out to be more and more exciting. Now, DC Comics wanting to kind of, I think, scrub things a little bit cleaner and give people some standalone books. That's a good idea, yes?
I agree with that. It seems to be solving a problem that they've gotten themselves into with all the event crossover things. We want to do standalone stories. You can.
Yeah.
They've got Batman has, I don't know, like 3 comic books. You can do a Batman standalone comic if you're saying like the big thing is like, we got to make a Batman standalone.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
This is good. I'm fine when they do like an Earth 1 or something, and this seems similar to that, where you get the top talent to do the high profile books. That's great.
Yeah.
That's fine. And it feels a little bit like they're hunting for movie material with this too. You know, you want a standalone story, then you can take that and probably adapt that into a movie easier than you can, you know, a real long patch of comics.
I think that's the only way to go, right? Like they're a multimedia company now, and there's rumors that if the AT&T and Warner Brothers deal doesn't come together, that Time Warner may divest itself of DC. So they need to figure out a way to kind of maximize their value, I think, to more people. You know? Because I think that just appealing to that comic, you know, sort of group, the diehards out there that are buying the monthlies and sort of tuning in regularly to pick up the comics, if that's all you focus on, you're not really hitting the wider kind of spectrum.
Yeah.
You know? And it feels like Marvel's hurting a little bit on the comics side, I think, in terms of sales.
Okay.
But they're doing well with all the the merchandising and the branding and the movies and the TV shows and all that stuff. And I think DC's actually doing pretty well with a lot of the comic choices and the risks, like Brian Michael Bendis coming over and stuff like that. And some of the weird brands that they have. There's a quirkiness that's, I think, being celebrated with DC. But they need to kind of up their movie game a little bit. So
yeah, it feels like with Marvel, the best version of the characters that you like, the best Spider-Man you're going to be seeing is probably in the movies.
Yeah.
Though there's still some good stuff in the comics, and in DC, it's the opposite. If you want to see a really good Batman story, you better read the comics, not so much the films.
Mm-hmm. Have you been reading? Is it Tom King who's got Batman right
now?
Yeah,
some pretty wild stuff.
Incredible.
Yeah,
incredible stuff. All right, you guys, we are going to be talking some more, and remember, help us out with the chats. If you guys have some comments or questions, Blake's reading through as much as he can. If you put it all into all caps, it's easier for us to see. But we're going to be talking some more. We're going to find out a little bit about Ian's background and some of the new stuff that he's working on. But first, let's take a look at this day in Everything Cool. Welcome to This Day and Everything Cool for March 8th. It wasn't much of a fight to determine what would take the first spot. On this day in 1971, the fight of the century took place between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier in New York City's Madison Square Garden. This was the first time the two undefeated legends fought each other for the heavyweight title, and it was a huge event, not just because of their boxing prowess, but because both men possessed larger-than-life personas that were sure to clash.
Who's at the top billing? Wait till I get you in the ring. Wait. Get your hands off of me.
Ali and Frazier even got into scuffles during interviews several times before the fight.
Quick, Joe.
The fight itself lasted 15 rounds, with Frazier declared the winner in a unanimous decision from the judges, although Ali refused to admit defeat because the match ended with him still on his feet. He went on to beat Frazier not once, but twice in 2 follow-up matches, with their third and final bout, the Thrilla in Manila, taking place in 1975. You betcha that today was an important day in film history.
Oh, yeah?
On this day in 1996, the crime thriller Fargo was released in theaters. Written and directed by Joel and Ethan Coen, the film focused on a kidnapping scheme gone wrong and starred Frances McDormand as a small-town police chief on the trail of the criminals.
From his footprint, he looks like a big fella.
Fargo was a huge hit critically and commercially, and was one of the first low-budget indie movies to strike it big in the traditional Hollywood studio system.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fargo had a big impact on pretty much every crime movie made ever since, and the film serves as the basis for an ongoing TV series on FX that deals with similar subject matter. One of the biggest games ever made broke out on March 8th, 2011. BioWare launched their massive RPG Dragon Age 2 on the PS3, Xbox 360, and PC, serving as the first sequel to Dragon Age Origins, which had been released less than 2 years earlier. Dragon Age 2 took the franchise to new heights. It had one of the biggest and most detailed game worlds ever developed, and like previous BioWare titles, player choice and character interaction played a major role in the outcome of the story. Dragon Age 2 was a huge hit, and BioWare followed it up with an even bigger sequel, Dragon Age Inquisition, in 2014. Looking ahead, BioWare says that they plan to create more Dragon Age games in the not-too-distant future. Lots of cool things that happened today and every day. It's one of my favorite new segments that we launched this year. I really dig that. I learn a little bit every time we put one of those things together. My buddy Ian Boothby is joining me. He's a comedian who writes. He writes comic books and writes for TV and podcasts and radio dramas, and you do a lot of improv. We're going to find out about his career, and finally we're getting him on EP. I've known you for years and years. We bump into each other at conventions and all kinds of cool things, and And thank you for joining us.
Oh, no, this is a real treat. I watched the show, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm not dreaming right now. I keep checking to see if I'm wearing pants.
I feel that all the time, actually.
Yeah,
good. For the record, we're both wearing pants, but it would be okay if we weren't.
Yeah. Check the bonus footage camera under here. You can, if you Patreon or subscribe, you'll get the.
Yes. Yeah, the Patreon supporters get the no pants option. Vaz Vegas, good to see you. JBJ Blaze and TFA, thank you for joining us. Steven Silva, Timberwolf, Will M, Adrian Leon, Garnot B, Fred Wicks, lots of great people in the chat, and we are going to take questions and comments and stuff, I promise. But first, let's find out a little bit about This Is Your Life, Ian.
Oh, geez. All right. Sure. Let's get into it.
Where did you grow up? Where was your
originally
background?
grew up in Montreal, in Quebec, and family moved here when I was 11.
Okay.
And I always wanted to act.
Yeah.
I think we had a similar background. We've if you look, you'll find weird footage of us from the 80s and 90s in various Canadian television shows. Yeah. But I found out that the best way to get acting work was to write your own stuff. So I started when I was about 13 writing.
I hear that. It's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to be on a TV show called Switchback here in Vancouver.
Crazy. Okay. And then when did you sort of get this bug? Was it in high school? Was it something that you were like in theater and so you wanted to do this?
I was kind of a loner kid, and my teachers were worried about me and said you should go to acting school.
Okay.
And so that's what I did. And about when I was 13, I started writing sketch comedy. I always loved sketch comedy.
Yeah.
And then when I was 16, I started doing my own comic books. I started just like Xeroxing comic books. And then I ended up being able to do it professionally.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Were you selling your comic books or giving them to friends? You were.
Yeah, I would take them to like the local comic store, and
Was it a comic shop?
It would be the comic shop,
Awesome.
And they would put them on commission. And when I would go into the store and I would hide the comics, and I would come in and go, "Have the comics sold?" And they would go, "Yes, apparently they've sold," and they would give me money. Yeah.
Are you just revealing that for the first time?
I think enough time has passed that I'm okay with doing that.
Sorry, Keith.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, go to the comic shop. It's a good shop.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And so you got a taste for it. You wanted to do a little bit of writing and a little bit of performing.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first sort of paid thing that you got? Was it an acting gig or was it a writing gig?
Paid. Okay, the first paid gig I ever had was for BC Hydro.
Yeah.
And it was me and some other kids, and we were young toughs.
Yeah.
Young toughs, and I'm about 12, so yeah, that tough. And we had a coat hanger, and we're sticking it into a power box, and the whole thing was, don't stick coat hangers into power boxes, as kids do, right? And so I asked later on about, like, so this is really dangerous? I was like, nah, sort of. So you turned off the power to the power box. They didn't.
Oh.
So if you ever see the video, I'm actually doing the thing you shouldn't do.
Oh my God.
But I got $200, so that's fine.
That's also TV magic. There's a look behind the scenes right there.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
And also, please, kids, stop sticking coat hangers into power boxes.
Yes. And
I know it's so much fun.
If you have kids, don't let them do that either.
Yeah, there was no Tide Pods back then, so that's how you had to
I
make
guess
our
so,
own
right?
good time.
Yeah. You electrocute yourself. And so you started, did you have an agent? Did you sort of
I did,
act?
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and so I went out to, I was on 21 Jump Street. Nice. I was in Happy Gilmore. You can see me catch a sub sandwich in my mouth that Adam Sandberg, that's wrong.
You put them together.
Yeah. You know the guy. He golfs a sandwich into my mouth.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I also was on 21 Jump Street.
Tell me what you did.
I got to make out with a girl all day long. They put me and this girl that I didn't know, and they said, you guys are a couple, and then we're just going to have you kissing all day long. And that was my weird day as an extra on 21 Jump Street.
My plot was this: I was a nerd, and I was helping Aoki because there was a prostitute, and here was the scam they were running.
Oh, yeah.
She would do her prostituting, and while she was prostituting, someone would steal the stereo from the house.
Okay.
And so I was letting Aoki use my house for the sting operation.
Vancouver sounds so dangerous. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so you were acting and you were doing some extra work
Yeah.
and working on different things. And when did it sort of become clear to you that it was going to be time for you to build your own stuff?
It was when I was like about 18, and there's a mini comics movement that was kind of going around.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to tell stories about myself, and I also wanted to do funny stories. And I found like doing the self-publishing thing was the best way to do it. So I did about 20 issues of a comic called I, and Matt Groening saw that. He was just starting off Bongo Comics, doing Simpsons comics, and he liked that. And over it was a longer period of time than the story makes it seem.
Yeah.
I started doing backup stories for them, and then eventually became the lead writer on the Simpsons and Futurama comic books.
That is amazing. And so Groening, that's how the Simpsons started, right?
Absolutely,
They used to be in, there was a local paper here called the Georgia Straight, but they were
Correct.
all over the place. Is Groening from the area? Or?
He's from Oregon.
From Oregon. Oh,
Yeah.
so Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
And so he would travel to like the Emerald City Comic Con and...
Well, we were actually at the Alternative Press Expo in San Jose, and it wasn't Matt that was there. It was a guy named Scott M. Gimple that was there, who's now the lead producer on Walking Dead.
Oh, wow.
So he was the guy who technically hired me, but he showed my stuff to Matt.
That's wild.
Yeah, because he was working on
And that is
the
how
comic
small
back
the
then.
sort of creative universe really is,
Yeah.
right? There are just a few steps between meeting some of the top people at some of these places.
Absolutely.
Did you have any idea when you started working on the Simpsons books? Because did it predate the show, or was it sort of...
No, it was after the show. He didn't want to just give the comic book rights to someone to just go with it. So he kept a nice bit of control on it and started his own company.
That's great. Now, you have been the longest working writer on the Simpsons books.
That's right.
How long have you been writing?
I've been writing. Oh boy, that always makes me feel old. But I've almost 20 years now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so the series was in what, its third season or second season?
About fourth or fifth season then. Yeah.
Crazy. But it was a juggernaut. It was huge.
Beyond huge. Nothing was bigger.
The comics must have sold like gangbusters back then too. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in Europe, in Germany and Australia, it was bananas.
Yeah.
Me and my wife have gone. My wife is Pia Guerra. She's more famous than me. She should be on the show. It's International Women's Day. Why am I here?
That's what I've been thinking
fair.
all day long.
She's even in the room. It's ridiculous that this is even happening. But we did a tour once of Germany with just about the comics, and yeah, it was crazy how popular they were.
That's
over
awesome.
there. Yeah.
Have any of your stories been transferred into other media?
There's been similar stories. I did the first Simpsons Futurama crossover.
Okay.
And they've since done that on the show.
Oh, wow.
And there was a joke that I wrote for a calendar, because I also used to write the calendars, that ended up in the Simpsons movie.
Wild.
Yeah.
Now, because you've worked so closely with the team, and you've known Matt, and you've known Scott, who doesn't work with them anymore, but have you been a part of the animation sort of construction? Have you gone to see?
No, I have gone. They used to have the Futurama offices were in the same office as the Bongo folks.
Okay.
So that was a little bit close, which was neat because they used to have a Secret Service person there because Al Gore's daughter used to write on the show.
Oh my
That
God.
was a weird little thing. We were
Wow.
like, why is the Secret Service here? It's like, that was the thing. But no, I haven't really been involved in the animation side of things because I want to stay in Canada. I love Canada.
Yeah.
I love living here. So I haven't really done the Los Angeles thing. I go down to visit, but that's about it.
Okay, very cool. And tell me about working on this book. How tough is it? Like, are they scrutinizing? Does it have to have like a comedy threshold? Like how much leeway
Does it have
do
to
you
have a comedy
You're like,
threshold?
I didn't make me laugh enough. I need 6 more laughs. So
Okay,
this,
sure,
and
yeah,
that.
they would. Yeah,
Yeah?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I think it has to be as funny as the show, or
Yeah.
otherwise people will be, very disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to make it as good as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say that. The trickiest part is that there's been so many over the years. There's been so many stories on television.
Yeah.
Find a new plot.
Right.
That's the trickiest bit.
Right.
That was the nice thing about writing for Futurama was there's less episodes, so
Yeah.
there's more things to do.
Okay, gotcha. I noticed you had a cover in here. I grabbed a few covers.
Sure.
Some of the books that you worked on. I hope you worked on. All of
Probably,
these.
yeah.
Yes. But there was one with the mighty Mo where he's kind of hulking out. Is that something that you would kind of focus on? Is like finding a character?
We have done a surprising amount of Hulk parodies.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's even an action figure of Homer as the Hulk. But that comic was a standalone Mo story.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, and the story I wrote in that one was about Mo remembering that he had a long-lost twin brother that got him in a whole bunch of trouble.
Okay.
And I'm going to ruin the twist. Mo got a little substance abusey, and it was actually his mirror reflection that he was remembering.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite in the Simpsons pantheon?
Yeah, it probably is the Simpsons Futurama crossover.
Yeah.
I was really happy with how that turned out, and I did it with my friend James Lloyd. We had like a nice Eisner nomination for the reprint book.
Nice.
And it was nice getting to that before anyone else got to that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you are now, a multi-year veteran in the comics industry, and I have a lot of people that watch our programming and have forever that are kind of trying to figure out where they're going to go and what they're going to do. They may have talents in this direction. What have you learned that you would pass on?
Definitely make your own stuff and find your own voice before you start submitting to companies. And I think the best way to do that now, for me, it was going to the Kinkos and Xeroxing stuff, but now you got the web, so put up webcomics.
Yeah.
There's so many amazing webcomics, and anyone can see them. And you do something on a regular basis, week after week, or day after day is even better, you will get noticed. If it's quality material, it's going to eventually get noticed.
And is there any, are there any books or any software or anything that you would recommend that people
I would say Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics is a fantastic book.
Okay.
Aside from that, read as much as possible. That's the same thing if you want to be any kind of author or actor. If you want to be an actor, go watch plays and go watch movies. If you want to be a writer, read. And if you want to be a cartoonist or a comic book person, read a lot of comic books. And especially check out webcomics, because once again, they're just fantastic nowadays.
Yeah, and you've got to write all the time, no matter what, right? I feel like that's...
even when it's bad, finish it. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Finish it, even if what you've done is like, ugh, this is taking a turn. Finish it, because that's the difference, I think, between people who make it and people who don't, is they actually finish the things.
When you were sort of coming up and meeting people that were potentially going to hire you, talk to me about that, because you'd already kind of established yourself as somebody that was self-motivated and was finding your direction.
Right.
But how would you parlay that into a gig? Like, what kinds of skills would you take into a conversation about somebody?
Well, the thing would be, I'd say, read something that I've done before.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I get rejected all the time for things. I'm not writing for Marvel, and that's not for lack of trying.
Gotcha.
I was once told my friend Gail Simone kind of hooked me up with this X-Men anthology book, and talked to the guy, and he didn't really know who I was, and when he found out I did comedy, he was like, ugh,
really?
not comedy.
Wow.
Ugh. So, yeah.
Which is, you and I were talking while we weren't rolling here, that that's the inverse of what's happening with the directors out there. Actually, we were rolling on that, right? The comedy directors are now taking over these massive properties. So why isn't the comics industry doing something like that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's just because the people who are involved, the real answer is people who don't have a sense of humor get angry when they see jokes and other people laughing at jokes. And so that's, if you don't get it, it makes you mad. So your drama's a lot easier because you go, oh, I get it. That plot got completed, and I understand. The mystery got solved. But comedy is its own thing, and it's really tricky.
Yes. Well, speaking of comedy, that's your other, you're multifaceted creator. You've got lots of other skills and lots of other things that you do, but you perform.
Multifaceted means you can't keep one job. By the way, that's what you're saying. Especially in Canada, you better do 5
that was my
things.
Polite way of saying that, but it's true for all of us. Ian.
Indeed.
Yes. So you perform, and you're on stage, and you're making video content, you're making radio content and audio content. Tell me a little bit about that and some of the projects that you've been working on recently.
Well, I used to do a lot of improv. I used to work with the Vancouver Theatre Sports League, and the kind of biggest thing I ever did with them was a show called Star Trek. And here's what usually happens is I'm not into a certain nerdy thing. I get involved in the comedy aspect of it, and then I learn about it. So I was Scotty on the Star Trek thing, and then I learned all about Star Trek. And now I'm in a show called The Critical Hit Show. I never really played Dungeons & Dragons.
Right.
Now I'm in a live role-playing game show that we do once a month over at the Rio Theater. So now I'm learning about all that kind of thing. And that then influences the comic books and other things as I learn.
Of course, right? Yeah, you're always learning. You're always reading and learning and meeting new people and sort of gaining from them and building your content.
And it's so fun finding these different cultures and the fans of all these different things that I wasn't aware of. I was just kind of a comic guy.
Yeah.
And then, it just kind of branches out.
You guys did something with Critical Hit because it's like you perform what you're doing in D&D, right? That's
Basically, yeah.
So
Not technically D&D because that's a copyrighted format.
Okay. All right.
We do Third Age. Third Age is it's public domain.
Okay.
Generally.
So a role-playing game.
That's right.
That you actually go and play the roles of on stage.
Correct.
Okay, that's
yes,
cool.
And I'm a half-elf cleric.
And you had Billy Campbell, I think, came
That's
out and
correct,
joined you guys, right?
Yeah, and we actually had a scene where he impregnated one of the characters on our show.
That's nuts.
Yeah. We actually had a live love scene that we covered up tastefully with a blanket.
Yeah.
But she was a werewolf, so there's puppies now in the show that are Billy Campbell puppies.
No way. And they've stayed with this. So you guys keep the
They live in the
legacy.
woods, and occasionally we'll run into one of them.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yes.
And so Billy Campbell was the Rocketeer for those that are Googling that right now.
Right,
He's
and it's
in
now in a show called Cardinal.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a great show as well. He's a fantastic guy. And he started off working at Medieval Times.
That's right.
So he knows all that kind of business, and he was so game. It was so much fun.
Yeah, he's a great dude. Is that how it works with something like Critical Hit? Is that you just have lots of people in the arts community that will come and join you for a show?
Sure, sometimes we'll have, guest stars. We've got some surprise guests coming probably for our next show as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Dungeon Master plans the thing, and then we all jam, and it's also very dirty, that show as well. So just heads up.
and it's at the Rio Theater, which is in Vancouver, which is on the bubble of staying or going. We don't quite know
Like
yet.
anything.
Yes.
Yeah, about 3 people have come into here and just checked this space for condo space since we've been doing this.
It's true. Welcome to Vancouver real estate.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And Kevin Smith was going to go to the Rio, and he just got sick. And, and he's on the mend.
Hope he's feeling better. Yeah,
Yes.
he's a super sweet guy that has always supported the Rio Theater, and it's just the greatest. Yeah.
That's awesome. But that's great that you've got a continuing show inside of that theater. That's so awesome. And you also work with Mark Meir on some stuff as well, right?
Yeah, I used to work with him on The Irrelevant Show, and anything that was a Batman-related sketch, because here's how I knew how to get a sketch on that show. It was a CBC radio show.
Yeah.
He loves Star Wars. He loves Batman.
Yeah.
He's you, basically. Yeah. I would write sketches, and he would approve them, and that's how I got on that show for a number of years.
Oh, really? So the way that show is working is they just take submissions from comedy writers from different places?
Generally, yeah, but then I became a regular writer on the show. The show went off the air a little time last year, but we've still got a couple of audio and video things that are online if you want to check that out. Mark Meir is just an amazing guy, and he is Commander Shepard
in
the Mass Effect. Yeah, he's the male Commander Shepard.
He is phenomenal and blew me away when he hosted the Canadian Video Game Awards. I couldn't believe
he's so good.
How talented he was and all these characters and how game he is to be like in makeup and masks and things like that.
This is the one nice thing about the performing aspect of what I do and the writing aspect is that I get to meet these people.
Yeah.
Whereas I think so many people I know that just do comic books, they have to spend so much time at home drawing and writing. You become a little isolated, and the only time you get to meet people is at cons. It is nice doing the live stuff as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What's Matt Groening like? Is he a good
What's
dude?
my boss like?
Yes.
Oh, sure. Let me give you an honest
be
thing about
honest, and no one's watching. It's just between you and me. We're just here.
He was one of my inspirations for being a cartoonist in that he can't draw very well.
Ah,
but he
okay.
never let that stand in his way. And he was a very bitter guy when he moved to Los Angeles, which is why he did a strip called Life in Hell.
Right.
But it was simple but effective and got an idea across really well and was hilarious. And I went, I can do this. So he was always an inspiration to me.
Yeah.
So and then when The Simpsons came on, I went, this is fantastic, but it'll never last.
Yeah.
Because it's so ugly looking and no one will like this. And then it became the biggest thing in the world.
Yes.
So working with him, it's just been fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'm still gobsmacked when I'm, hanging out with him.
Yeah.
And like we hang out.
Yeah.
We don't hang out. But we do signings and stuff sometimes. And he's always very, very sweet and supportive.
That's cool. Is it? I imagine that it's been around for so long, and there's been all of these contract things that have bubbled up in the news and stuff that it feels like we're seeing like a family's dirty laundry in a way. Does it feel like it's a big family? The people that work in the Bongo and the Simpsons and all that stuff is.
Well, a family, I guess, in both the good and the bad ways.
Yes, that's what I was.
There's a lot of love. You know what I always say? It's like a family business.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's family, sometimes it's the business.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the heated parts get more heated,
Yeah.
and
It has.
But but the best parts are also better because of it as well.
And the thing that I think that has made Futurama and Simpsons so popular is that people see reality reflected in there, even if it's twisted and weird and cartoony and garish. It's still there's an honesty.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Like no matter what you're doing, no matter how surreal the environment, it also has to be true. Like something like a show like Rick and Morty, they go as far as you can go, but it still emotionally has to feel true.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you a huge fan of? You dropped Rick and Morty.
I will go with Rick and Morty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a huge fan of Seth Meyers right now. I love his joke writing and joke delivery and kind of his political skew on things.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan. I'm going to do this. This is a little bit of a kiss butt thing. I'm a huge fan of my wife.
Yes.
She did a comic book called Y the Last Man that was very, very popular, and maybe a TV show very shortly. We'll see. I can't say anything. There's nothing I can say.
Pia's sitting right over there, by the way.
Yeah,
and she doesn't want to be on the show today.
But because she's done so much media lately.
Yeah.
But she's been doing a lot of editorial cartoons lately,
Yes.
and just completely nailing things so well. So yeah, I'm an enormous fan of hers, and my sister-in-law is here too, and she's a brilliant filmmaker as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So creativity runs throughout the family.
Sure.
Yes.
Even though we're not in any way blood related.
Yes.
Sure. It runs through different people that are related now by law.
Yes. Steven Silva says, "Why the last man?" with an exclamation mark.
Darn
yes,
tootin'.
Pia is sitting right here watching her husband. How did you two meet? Let's hear your side, and then when I have Pia on the show, I'll hear her side.
We met at a Comic-Con. We were both in a anthology of The Desert Peach. It's a Donna Barr book. But we were dating other people at the time, so no dice, because we don't do that kind of thing.
Right.
Then many years later, I was single, and I was wondering what she was up to. And I had heard that she got married.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, there you go. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
But I Googled her, as you could then, and she Googled me back. That sounds dirty. And turned out, no, she was not married. That was a complete lie, and she was running a kid's clothing store in New Westminster and said, why don't you come over?
Wow.
And I did, and we fell in love.
Wow. So Pia had moved to Vancouver?
Yeah, she was still doing comics.
Yeah.
But kind of looking for that big break, and which would come a couple of years later on.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that's a story for another day.
Sure.
The reason why I wanted it, well, many reasons. As you can all see, there are many, many sort of entryways into having a great conversation with this man. But
oh, bless.
You've got a brand new book out. It's called Sparks.
Yes.
And you reached out and you said, well, I think that's a private thing, but it was a very nice gesture, and I think that's cool.
Sure. Okay.
It's private, like we're not wearing pants, kind of private. No,
But I reached out, apparently.
Yes, you did. You reached out. And you said, I've got this new book.
And somehow I got on the show.
And let's talk about it. And I said, absolutely, let's talk about it. Tell me about Sparks. And we'll try to get our minds out of the gutter.
Sure,
Yeah,
please
okay.
do.
All right.
Well, one of the people I worked with on The Simpsons is Nina Matsumoto, who's an amazing artist in her own right. And we got an Eisner for a comic we did called Murder, He Wrote, which is a parody of the Death Note series.
Okay.
And we always wanted to work on stuff together, and we've jammed on a couple of web things. And then we pitched Scholastic's idea that cats aren't ever heroes in stories.
Right.
No one takes a cat hero seriously. So these two cats decide to team up and get into a mechanical dog suit and pretend to be a dog hero. And that is Sparks, who is now the greatest dog hero in the world, who is actually two cats.
That is fantastic.
And they fight an evil baby who's bent on taking over the world.
Now, you and Pia are cat people.
We are cat people because we can't have a dog.
Oh, okay.
But we also are cat people, and the cats
Yeah.
are based on two cats that we have had.
Okay.
Charlie and August, yes.
And they're inventors together, right? Or
No, only August is the inventor.
only the one cat is the inventor.
That's right.
Okay.
That's the very smart cat, and the other cat is fearless to the point of being stupid.
So the heroic one that can be manipulated by the smart one.
You read into it what you want to read into it. But the other cat is very, very brave. And again, it's based on our cat, and we have a note from the vet that on the very top said, Charlie was very brave. And so I always like that, and I went, okay, I want to use that in some story, and now we have.
And I understand it's already number 3 on the kids' book
Yeah, the number 3 Canadian kids book in our country.
That's a fantastic stat. That's
It was
amazing.
a complete
It just
shock.
launched this week, right?
Yeah, it's right underneath I Love You Forever by Robert Munch, and how are we going to beat that?
Yeah.
We're not.
Never.
So number 3 sounds fantastic. Bronze is the Canadian gold. So we're very happy.
And this book will also make you guys cry a lot less than I Love You Forever as well.
I don't know. We got some tender stuff in this as well.
yeah?
It's
Very
got
nice.
some it's got some and it's narrated by a sentient litter box.
Okay. Okay.
But it's very grounded and very true as well. Go to your bookstore, check it out.
Pot is virtually legal in Canada as well. I
Virtually?
understand.
What's that mean?
The other thing I noticed about this is
Sure.
it's a hefty book. It's not just like a monthly. It's not like 23 pages and you're out. This is you guys put a lot of work into.
Yeah,
putting this together.
it's what they call a graphic novel. We still call it comic books. For the most part, most people I know call this comic book. But yeah, it's like about 190 pages or so.
That's wild. How long did it take to put that together?
It took me to write it probably about 7 months, and it took about that amount of time, I think, for Nina to draw it. You'd have to ask her, but it was a substantial amount of time.
Does she live in Canada as well? Or
She does. She lives in Port Coquitlam. I'll give you her address.
Okay,
Anyway,
cool.
it's. I know she knows I'm joking, but there's a bit of her that just got terrified watching this. She's amazing, by the way. If you go to Space Coyote online, you'll see she does a lot of video game T-shirts and stuff as well, and she's amazing.
Oh, so she's into all of this world. as
Oh
well.
my gosh!
So
yeah.
you said
so
two
much
cats
more than me.
in a robotic dog suit, and she went, "Yeah, we're in."
Well, she's not a real cat person. Yeah,
Oh.
so that's the worst thing is like some of the reviews have gone. These people are clearly cat people,
Right.
And she went, "Oh, it's my worst nightmare."
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
She's a dog
She's
person.
a dog. And you're like really gonna pit cat and dog people. I mean,
know.
you went right for this. This is like high controversy.
Let me tell you something that's been one of the nicest things about the reviews has been people saying that their kid, normally they go, oh, my child doesn't like reading, but
Yeah.
they've been reading it out loud to our dog.
Oh.
So dogs are getting this book read to them.
Oh wow! And will that make them have troubles with their esteem, or is it going to be okay?
I think dogs have good self-esteem generally, don't they?
they'll be
I think a good boy at the end and you're going to be all right.
That is awesome. And so Scholastic is not a company that you traditionally think of as a comic book publisher, but do they do this
You
kind of thing?
should think of them as a comic
Yeah,
book
okay.
publisher because a book like Smile, which is a book about Rainier Tegelmeyer, I think. Tegelmeyer is one of the best-selling graphic novels. Period.
Oh, wow.
It's so huge, and it's this ignored part of comics that most comic fans don't have no idea about.
Okay.
But in terms of book sales, to the moon and back.
That is
yeah,
amazing.
Like Killing Joke and then Smile.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I know. It was a surprise to me as well.
That's fantastic. So was that something that like were you pitching Sparks to different publishers and they were the ones that
It was originally an animated pitch
Okay.
that a local company didn't bite at, which is
Yeah.
fine. That's normal. Most things don't go.
Yeah.
And then just ended up they liked the work that Nina and I were doing together, and they went for it.
That's
and it was a
fantastic.
very long process because they run it by focus group after focus group after focus group before they even greenlight the concept.
Yeah.
So many hoops to jump through before we got here.
Well, congrats. That's
Thank you
fantastic.
kindly. We're very happy with it, and hopefully you'll give it a try.
Well, you're a testament to trying a lot of different things and having some perseverance and believing in your own ability and your talents, and you're a wonderful dude.
Thank you. Back at you, my friend.
Thank you for coming on.
I really
EP.
enjoy the show again, and so it's like this is such a treat.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to have Ian join me for some Let's Play and chat, and we're actually giving away a couple of codes, so you're going to want to stay around for that. We're going to be playing Way of the Passive Fist, but right now we've got a buried treasure for you to take a look at.
So I just recently professed my undying love for Bayonetta as it hit the Nintendo Switch, Bayonetta 1 and 2, but Platinum Games also released an incredible game, that's our buried treasure today, called Vanquish. It was out on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I think it's come to the PC. The thing that's driven me to recommend this game again, because I freaking love this thing, is because the Xbox 360 disc will play on your Xbox One and your Xbox One X. And I recommend every Xbox One player out there that's never played Vanquish to find this game. It's insane. It's so cool. It is a sci-fi, tough guy shooter with incredibly tuned mechanics. It's just ridiculously fun to play. It's so flashy, awesome boss fights, incredible enemies to take on, and you've got all of these abilities that you just feel like the baddest freaking dude in the world when you're playing this game. And I would love to see, I think they did a 4K, if I'm not mistaken, a 4K remaster for the PC of this, but I would love to see, well, I'd love to see a sequel, and maybe somebody could rescue this franchise like Nintendo has rescued Bayonetta. But I loved Vanquish, and you're sliding on your knees, you're blasting at all kinds of bad guys, and you feel incredible when you play this. Platinum Games, I love that company so much, and Vanquish is one of the big reasons why. It's also an incredible buried treasure.
God, I love Platinum Games. All right, you guys, we discovered this together on EP Live a little while ago. It's a game called Celeste. Let's take a look at my review.
While I was on the road for my vacation in Italy, I downloaded a game called Celeste to my Nintendo Switch, and I never got a chance to actually check it out while I was traveling. I was looking at other titles that I have been reviewing, but now it's time for me to tell you guys about how wonderful this freaking game is. The first time I got to experience it, I did it live on EP Live with people telling me that I was playing it all wrong, and I had no idea what I was doing. It's very hard to stream and talk and think about cameras and all the other stuff and get the mechanics down for incredibly challenging games like Celeste is. Essentially, this is a game of getting as far as you can and dying as little as you can. And that sounds easy and sounds like simple game design, but this is airtight development. Let me tell you, the mechanics are the story here. It absolutely is about precision, it's about fluidity, it's about butter smooth control decisions, it's about having the patience to deal with dying a million freaking times and not throwing your controller across the screen, or if you have the Switch in your hand, throwing, God forbid, your Switch. Oh my God, that's just a nightmare. But no, this game is going to tax your patience. It's going to make you feel like a terrible video game player, and then you will get past that level and you will feel like a god. And that is the best thing about this experience. It's so well crafted. You basically have to climb up a little mountain and you go through, ruined, old hotels and its infrastructures, and you pass all kinds of sort of markers of other people have been here before, and you encounter people along the way too, and they tell you little weird stories. The mechanics are kind of, they're juiced a bit. It's like a dial is being turned, It's like, okay, we're gonna make this just a little bit harder. Now we're gonna make this just a little bit harder. So it's all about jumping and then sort of warping into another area, or double jumping with a little bit of boost. And then there are little objects along the way that you can jump to, and they will give you an extra bit of boost. So it's like jump, boost, hit an object, now boost up, and avoid a giant sort of glowing red thing that's coming towards you that's in a weird sort of spherical pattern and is going to destroy you, and nope, try that again. Nope, try that again. Try that again. And it's a punishing experience, but it's so well made, you cannot put the controller down. And the music is hypnotic. It's beautiful. It evokes all kinds of, like, there's a synth pattern to it, and an atmospheric thing, and a kind of a techno beat thing. It's just so cool. Like, the whole experience is just so arty and fun and trippy and transportive. And it's just like these little 2D sprite-based, it's so rudimentary when you just look at a screenshot. It looks so dated, this experience. Like, we see a lot of this retro-style game design these days, but it doesn't matter. This is one of those cases where it's like, it doesn't matter what it looks like. This is just a game that exists in its own perfection. It's like one of those games that, somebody chiseled out of rock and discovered it like it's always been there. That's how good Celeste is. It's like this work of art that was chiseled away and discovered. I know that that's not how the developers look at it. They probably killed themselves. I can't imagine imagine the maddening amount of detail it takes to kind of move things pixels over until it's perfect, until you know that you can do it. Because a lot of these levels, you look at them, you get to a screen, it's like, no way, I can't, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this thing. And 1,000 tries later, you've done it, and you're like, I never want to see that level again. But you can't help but think, oh, these people that made this are geniuses. Like, how did you know that you could do this jump and slide, and then you slide down these little tentacle things, and you bounce over here, and you get to the other side, and you're just like, whoa. It's very good. It's just very, very good design. You're gonna not be able to put this game down, and you're gonna appreciate every damn second that you play Celeste. I played it on the Switch, and I know it's out there for a lot of platforms. Get it. It's excellent. 9.5 out of 10.
So I've reached out to Matt. I want to have him, Matt Thorson, who made Celeste, or at least was part of the game. I don't know the whole story on the development of that game, but it is insanely amazing and awesome and beautiful. And I played that one again. I don't know if I mentioned that in the review with my daughter, and we were both like, wow. The music is great. I mean, it's not a visual statement, but it is beautiful. It's very, very, very engrossing. You got to pick that up. Anyways, I've got something a little special today. Ian and I are going to be answering questions on Let's Chat and stuff, but I'll be playing Way of the Passive Fist. But the people at House Made Games, I think that's the name of the developer, sent me a couple of codes. And guess what? I'm going to give them away right now live. And this is for the fastest typers that can get this right there. 2 codes for Way of the Passive Fist. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the game. And I'll let that live there for a second. All right. And then I'll turn the iPad around and we can, hopefully you can see that. Yeah, okay. See it. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to turn around and we're going to play a little Way of the Passive Fist. And the way that this happens, and I actually do have to make this a little bit quicker today because I have got a parent-teacher thing that I got to go and meet up with my kids. So this is 10 minutes of Way of the Passive Fist, which is a little shorter than normal. I actually put the alarm on. Okay. Boom. And then, Blake, if you can throw out any questions while people type that in, hopefully 2 people snag those. And let's check this game out. Now, this is a game that I believe the idea was, let's not just make it a punch and kick kind of experience. Let's make it a little bit more peaceful, passive.
Yeah.
So let's see how this goes. Sure. Confirm and play. I don't know anything about this thing. Do you play a lot of beat 'em ups and?
I do. Yeah. I'm glad they let you confirm before you play. That's good.
Oh, I've got the cursor on here. Okay, there we go.
There you are.
Thank you, sir. Were the codes taken?
I think a couple people said they were going to grab them.
Okay.
Just leave them up there.
Well, okay. You'll give us the questions and comments.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to speed through this. Sure. I don't know the story. We're on an alien planet. I'm learning the Way of the Passive Fist, and let's jump into this.
Sure thing. Let's go.
Now, I interviewed these guys, and I apologize if I got the name of the studio wrong, but I think it's House Made. I interviewed these guys at GDC last year, and super cool. They're from Toronto and or the Ontario area, and some of them had worked on Guacamelee and other titles. Amazing development scene out there. Yeah. Okay, so you can shoulder check with the triangle button, and it's basically the training mode here. 3 times, great. Okay. And the art style is sort of meant to evoke classic arcade games and also Saturday morning cartoons, which was the idea.
That Street Fighter bounce.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Oh, he just tuckers himself out.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
You just make him sleepy.
That's
right.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay. So they're whiffing on their punches.
And
then you knock them over. Which is pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
You got to come up with something new. I mean, that's the thing that I love about indie is that they can come up with new ideas and keep them manageable.
You're just fighting people with low blood sugar.
Yes.
Though I like that you leave them in the desert.
Ouch!
Where they clearly die later on their own.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
Well done, I did it. Okay, watch the attacks and then react. Okay, so consecutive parries, square, and then circle. Okay.
Yep.
I have a question for you.
Sure, yeah.
Somebody wants to know if you know anything about Futurama maybe getting new episodes.
I know as much as you do if you know that maybe that could happen. Futurama will keep coming back in various forms, I'm pretty sure, whether it's games or new episodes. But I don't think anything dies TV show-wise now.
Anymore, yeah.
No,
that's true,
nothing.
right?
Nothing. It's
Like
they
Netflix
all come
would
back.
want that in a second.
Yeah.
And Matt must know that.
And
right?
you know that Matt Groening's got a new animated series coming up that's a fantasy-based series. So that will probably take the focus at least for a while. But hopefully, let's say hopefully, and hoping is an okay thing to do.
Please keep answering questions.
Sure,
while
I'm happy to.
I figure out how to play this damn game because it's not, I'm wanting to punch this guy
I know.
in the face.
I am enjoying
and
watching you
cannot-
get beat up.
I cannot punch him.
Nope.
He's too chill, this guy.
Use passive aggressiveness.
Yeah.
Oh no, that doesn't hurt me at all. Oh, I hate that he's laughing at you too. That's too bad.
Oh my God. Parry and then dodge. These are skills I've never had to do before. Oh, okay, wait too long. Okay, so he
Yeah, here we go.
flashes and then I press.
So nice parry and then dodge. Yeah, you did it. Good. Oh no, not at all.
Okay. Earn 5 combo. Did I do it? I don't know if I've done it.
Earn 5 combo. Are you supposed to earn 5 combo or have you?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, at least it's not an escort mission, it says Pia. That's good.
Oh,
Yay!
Oh, iPad went to sleep? Okay. There it is.
Sure.
Right.
Making things go to sleep is basically what the game is as well. You did to the iPad what you should be doing to the character.
This is the greatest demo ever.
That's right.
Right here. This is the reason why you want this game.
Oh,
okay,
boy.
So parry and then dodge.
Yeah, okay.
Parry. Nope, dead. Okay, so I feel like I can do it once and then he gets me.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, he gets me.
Earn 5 combo.
No, he got me again. What the frack? Come on. That's my normal way to play.
Yeah, but I don't know if that. Oh, it actually seems to be. Oh, it didn't. Face in the dirt.
I'm not sure if you mentioned this in the interview.
Sure.
Where's the best and easiest way to find
Oh yeah.
The best way to find Sparks is in your local bookstore. The best place actually to find some information on Sparks would probably be Nina's site. So go to Space Coyote and just enter Space Coyote and then Sparks. That'll take you to a page about it, and also take you to her T-shirt page. There's some very cool Sparks T-shirts that she's designed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Space Coyote is a great name.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to see you
I
put
want to
this
get
guy
past
to
this.
sleep.
I want to get past this guy.
Oh boy.
Parry and dodge.
This feels like such a zen thing of it's just a test of your patience.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
I think you're doing it. Yeah, 3.
Oh, I
you
gotta
gotta do
get
it. Oh,
5.
yeah,
I
you
see.
gotta do
I
5.
see, I
Okay,
see,
now
I
we're
see.
getting it. Now we're getting it.
It's all new, guys.
1. Oh, 0.
I want to play, Final Fight or whatever, but this ain't that.
It's like you want to play, Mortal Kombat right after this game, just so you can like tear a spine out.
Yeah, totally. I keep pressing the tear spine out button. Nothing is happening.
Oh, there you go. 1, 2. Here we go. Oh boy.
Okay. Every game should have a tear spine out button.
Tetris. How did you do that? I don't know. I did.
Somebody wants to know what is your favorite Futurama comic book?
My favorite was Tartar House 5. I did a kind of parody of Slaughterhouse 5 with Zoidberg becoming unstuck in time because he ate an onion ring that was a time ring.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, very happy with how that one turned out.
Do you want to play, Ian?
Oh, do I?
There
It
you
looks
go.
so much fun. All right, wait a second. All right, so let's say parry,
Yeah.
dodge. Oh, a second. Parry. Wait, is it both at once?
Nope. Parry and then dodge, I think.
All right, well, let's just.
Oh, wait a second. I think all you have to do
Yeah.
is either or.
What?
You parry and dodge to earn 5 combo.
But somebody in the chat is saying dodge when the guy puts his hands back, that's when you start to dodge.
Oh,
okay.
oh, when he puts his hands back.
Like when he swings back, I think that's when you start to dodge.
Okay.
I'm trying to. I was reading this literally like I'm doing it in a sequence, but I think it's you parry or dodge to get 5 combo.
Okay.
Don't get hit at 5 swings, and then you'll get past it. And I'm saying that as if it's easy to do.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Now you're giving me the advice. Like I didn't just watch you do it for like a half hour.
Yeah, I am the Zen master.
Okay.
Apparently.
I almost had something there. There we go.
1.
Oh, this is a rough.
Here, I'll try one
yeah,
more
please,
time.
please.
I'll try one more time. I think it's just don't get hit for 5 swings.
And let's just state, you're a professional at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go home. I am going to play Scott Pilgrim, and I'm just going to punch the heck out of characters. Oh my gosh. This is its own interesting thing.
Come on.
I'm
You're be screaming.
I've just watched so many aspects of the background here, this oil pipeline. Just wondering.
Yeah, this is a great moment in video game history right now.
Oh my stars. I am not feeling passive at all during this game. Oh, okay, yes. Yes! Oh, if you do it. Oh my gosh, if you do it. Oh.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Okay, yes. Yes.
I get this now. So when he's backing up, I got to press the circle button.
I was having a good time before, but I'm having a great time
And
now.
now this is the best.
This is
right?
fantastic.
Yes. What do I amuse you? Am I a clown?
Just that it's a face plant. Like it's such a mean, humiliating thing.
Oh, I almost got to 3.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, okay. I'm getting this now.
This is the second thing you do in the game. There's a whole game that comes after this. This is the training.
This is the
He died during the training.
I'm pretty much ready for the Olympics
Yes.
now, I think. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that guy should be getting tired by now already, right? Just
He should be tired of winning.
yes.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I'm looking at his pants. He's got those knee holes.
It's all in the timing, which I have none of. And there's their timer.
Oh, no.
Right there.
And there's the mercy rule coming into effect.
That was a terrible demo, Way of the Passive Fist. And I'll tell you what that means. That means I have to play this and stream it for real, and I will do that because I feel awful that I couldn't get past the
I
second
feel great.
dude.
That was so great to watch. Man, that was fun.
That's going to conclude the show today. Unfortunately, we could clearly go on for a lot longer, but I actually do have a dad commitment that I got to go and take care of. But Ian, thank you so much,
Such a
my
pleasure.
friend.
Anytime.
That's you live in the city.
I do.
So I will invite you back.
Please.
All right, and let's do this again.
All right.
And then let's both work together to convince Pia to be a guest on the show at some time very
And that's a no.
soon. Okay, that's
No, she's
no thanks, because I suck at video games. You guys rock for watching. Thank you so much. And we're going to take a break from EP Live tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a regular rundown and some other content, and probably I'll be streaming some Way of the Passive Fist once I learn how to play it. But we'll be back with new EP Lives on Monday. But thank you so much for watching today. Remember, we've got tons of other content for you to check out, so please do that. If you dig it, hit subscribe, that little bell, and if you're so inclined, that sponsorship button too. Thanks for watching.
Cheers.